Morning. I will talk about Erdoğan and Mid Kingdom's terrorism activities, domestically and globally. So this issue is getting worse and difficult to solve. So Erdoğan and Mid Kingdoms terrorism and Qaeda involvement. Good morning. My name is Faruk Aslan. I'm a registered social worker and provide psychotherapy in Canada. I'm a former journalist, reporter, and author of 70 books. My master's thesis about ISIS and in religion and culture in Folklore University in Canada. I did write an academic article and 2 books regarding Erdoğan and Mid Kingdom's terrorism activities and Al-Qaeda affiliations. I would like to explain more details, so it's getting worse. Erdoğan's involvement with Al-Qaeda terror network and Salafi ideology through mid-Turkish intelligence and smuggling and transferring weapons to terror groups, around 30 terror organizations in Syria, becoming a disaster. And the global terrorism network works in 80 different countries, and they collect militants from 80 different nationalities. Erdoğan and his MIT, called MIT, Turkish Intelligence Services, became a biggest mafia and terror company and organizations who export and import Al-Qaeda affiliated terrorists and terror groups inside out, causes global security problems everywhere since 2011. Jihadis have seen gone to Syria through Turkey, around 25,000 militant terrorists collected from 80 different nations, which is one of the worst cases on the road. The Erdoğan welcomed Tariq Hashimi from the Nakshi order in the Ba'ath party in Iraq, so who caused many killings and problems in Iraq since 2003. So Erdoğan provided him a yellow in Bosphorus, provide him a budget to collect terrorists for his political purposes, and he calls Khalif and become a Khalif in Islamic world, which is kind of distorted and dismantled Turkish mind. Turkish mind became a madness stage, and borderline personality disorder historically looks like becoming a Hitler and Nazi party. Fighting on the front line is often called the Gate of Heaven by ISIS and Al-Nusra, Safan, Fethi Ordusu, Khorasan, name it. MIT created umbrella terror organizations called Ahrar Sham in Turkey, and bring those 30 terror organizations, Al-Qaeda affiliated terror organizations, to Turkey. Around 50,000 militants got into Turkey and protected. The Gate of Heavens is Turkey for terrorists. Erdoğan became one of the terror masterminds like Osama bin Laden, and supported all Boko Haram, Al-Shabaab, and many Al-Qaeda affiliated terror network on the road. President of Turkey was elected 2014 by a fake document. He wasn't finished university, a degree, and he wasn't eligible. So since then, last 4 years, Turkey run by a mafia puppet leader, and Turkish intelligence became terrorist and company and making money from terrorist business in the region. So this problem getting worse every day. So yesterday a news appeared in social media. The ISIS supposedly allegedly ISIS leader Baghdadi, Abu Bakr bin Baghdadi died 2015. There is a mystery who is the leader of the ISIS. They are tricking people and making stupid, and seems they are smart government leaders and politicians who became a very messy and destructive. Turkish government became a terrorist, and AKP party became a Nazi party. Turkish intelligence involving many Al-Qaeda networks on the road and sending weapons, training them in Turkey. And they protect them and select terrorists from different nations and inside of Turkey, domestically and internationally. So Erdoğan using a Al-Qaeda terror network for his politics. Erdoğan's genocide and genocide project in Turkey caused a big problem, and it became a Holocaust. It is not a social Holocaust anymore. It is a real Holocaust. Since the self-coup, July 15, 2016, he organized a self-coup, a coup against himself, and because he controls all government positions and judge system, media, and 100% Turkish media owned by Erdoğan and with intelligence. There's nobody left in Turkey as a journalist or writer or academics who can tell the truth. All gone, all went to jail, and torture them, kill them. They run away from Turkey. Erdoğan closed down 15 universities. He closed down 200 media outlets. All good journalists, brave hearts in jail, and they sentences. This Holocaust in Turkey and Syria and many other countries, and his long arms connected countries became worse, getting worse every day. The term sexual holo war, we call in academia, either exchanging sex for jihad or rape, puts all women and children at risk. Over 80,000 women raped by ISIS, Al-Sham, Al-Nusra, and Erdoğan's related terror organization in Syria. So they rape people in Turkey as well. Torture to kill. And he is using a Turkish government for his terrorism. Intelligence became one of the worst mafia organization and corrupted and involved terror network all over the world. So I have to explain this because I am a former reporter, journalist, correspondent in Ankara, in diplomacy reporter and energy reporter, and I publish in newspapers in Canada as Canada Turk, and I write columns, personal blogs, tweets, over 300,000 tweets, and 70 books I publish in Turkey. I published ISIS-related books in 2015. I explain every single detail in Turkish, but Turkish people don't want to understand. They are scared. They poisoned by Erdoğan and with intelligence system regime, which is they are bribing them They are giving them positions, using government posts and every single opportunities and cover up the truth. They are masking the truth, which is causing millions of people in danger. We need a strong counter propaganda in social media. Needs to be developed, and everywhere new national and regional strategies must launch awareness campaigns, educate grassroots-based NGOs with trustworthy local imams, scholars, journalists, must empower actors in local civil society to overcome the ISIS, al-Nusra, now they name it Shankfati, al-Sham problems, and terror problems all over the world. Having suffered oppression is no excuse for causing it or failing to condemn terrorism. We must accommodate the diversity as a primary goal. Muslims must respect the diversity of culture and religion in order to nurture democratic all human rights and civil society values. So I am a Canadian Turkish who studied sociology, religion and cultures and social work masters, and doing a PhD in human relationships in Victoria University and Martin Luther, which is I studied discipline and spoke at conferences and seminars, and I made a huge amount of writings and speeches, different locations. I do public education on YouTube and Periscope. Over 450 my videos show up on social media. So I did talk mostly in Turkish, but it seems 82 million of Turkish people under attack and living in open jail. Looks like it is a Hitler regime, and Nazi party controls people, and they cannot get out. Most people passports cancelled, and they are making up reasons and put them in jail and torture to kill. The Erdoğan and intelligence provided a license to kill, and using a Turkish government post, academia, in media, judge system. There is no judgment system left in Turkey, and every judge and prosecutors receiving order from palace of Erdoğan and with intelligence. Özel Harp Command, which is the special forces in Turkey, supporting these terror organizations and terror network, and this genocide and Holocaust has been going on since 2011. So, as a registered social worker and master of social work, and made a master's religion and cultures at Wilfrid Laurier University, and studied sociology at York University. As a person, as a civil society in Canada, we must have a role in promoting respect, diversity, and acceptance to others. Curing radicalism needs serious steps, but counter strategies must be mutually developed in both Muslim and non-Muslim Muslim worlds. We cannot tolerate any terrorism inside out, domestically and globally, including in Turkey. Turkey is an important country in the region. Turkey cannot run by the terrorists like Erdoğan and Hakan Fidan and Hulusi Akar, Yaşar Güler, who involved July 15 self-coup and tried to use Turkish credits on different countries and using terrorism as a tool. Muslims must publicly promote human rights, dignity, life, liberty, equality, mutual respect, freedom and justice. Islam is not a political party, political ideology, nor offer violence. Islam is a religion for peace. So promoting a holistic understanding of Islam is necessary as a whole, and the flexibility to overcome Erdogan's mid-intelligent kingdoms and ISIS problem together. This is a one package. We cannot separate out the ISIS, Al-Nusra, Ahrar Sham, Shamfeti, name it. It's many terror organizations and Erdogan regime. This regime became one of the worst dictatorship on the world. Erdogan is a corrupted dictator, and among the others, he became a worse and worsened every day. The end of Erdogan's leadership and immediate psychological reality is a part of negotiating the normalize the terror activities with his charisma. So he's using his charisma and his speeches and tricking people, making people stupid, making everyday different speeches. It is, we call the borderline personality disorder persona. We saw this drama before in Hitler type of dictator, and Germany is follow him and sink and Second World War and cause 80 millions of deaths. So this is a psychological effect on Erdogan's Qaeda followers and Perincek group, which is involved and made an agreement with Erdogan regime and Erdogan counter organizations collaborating this Turkish mafia state, which is they are achieving their target by success by Erdogan covering up truth. Erdogan, I call him Recep Tayyip Erdogan, but his grandfather name is Tayyip. He wasn't a Muslim. His father was Georgian. He's not Turk. He wasn't a Muslim. And the alcoholic, chronic alcoholic guy, and who beat him up in his childhood. So Erdogan has many traumas and disorders. In psychologically speaking, he needs treatment for a long time, for lifetime. So he's supposed to be not running a show and as a puppet, and the other terror groups, Ergenekon and name it now Göktürk since 2011, and using Turkish nationalism and fascism and government opportunities. Perincek group who involve Erdogan's last 40 years, so collaborating with Russia and China, one of the worst enemies for the West and civil society and democracy. So we should work together to solve this problem and big mess in the Middle East every day, and children and women are dying and they raped by this terrorist group or his Erdogan supporting terror militants, terrorists. They call them Muslim, and we against those ideology. Islam is not ideology, and they cannot use Islam as a label and cover up their crimes. So they do every kind of criminal activities, raping women and sell them to market, and every kind of human trafficking, every kind of drug business. So they do underground economy to keep up their business network organization as a state. Turkey became one of the worst, Al-Qaeda states, and Erdogan became a leader of the Al-Qaeda and replaced Osama bin Laden, and also looks like Khomeini, the Mullah regime in Iran. Despite the fact that ISIS is a game changer and the role of the Erdogan's leadership of AKP as a Sufyan means wrongdoer in government posts. as a leader, Sufyan, well-known term in Islamic terminology. We call the Prophet Muhammad in the Hadith say there's the end of the time. The Muslims run by the Sufyans, and one of the big Sufyan is a worse. He's the Erdoğan. So we can compare with AKP and the theoretic fundamentalism of ISIS connection with Nazism and Leninism. It presents anti-diversity and it's opposed to democratic religious plurality, and they destroy 2,000 years old heritage in the Middle East. So they target Turkish Sufi Islam in Turkey and elsewhere, and destroy Islamic spirituality and tasawwuf, we call irfan. So there is no Islam left and Muslim left without spirituality, and this tradition of Ibn Arabi, we call school of Ibn Arabi's realization of things, verification, and the realizer as a verifier. Ibn Arabi called his school is realization and self-awareness, self-actualization, the mashrabi drug in Arabic term. So we respect diversity, which is God created us with His Asmaul Husna with different ways. So we cannot kill others in terms of tawhid and unity, and creating some khalifa or something we call different names. There is no such universal idea, and excluding others and killing others for religious purposes. This is a big political mess. It is not religion. It is not coming from Islam. My professors, including for instance Michel Desjardins, he's well-known person. Now he retired, and Paul Preston was retired too. Paul Preston made a speech at CG conference in 2015 in CG, and he argued that three possible limitations exist within ISIS as an ideological self-strangulations. It means self-prison, jail by one's own ideology. So Erdoğan trapped in his own ideology. AKP is trapped by his own political Islamism, which is supported Al-Qaeda terror network in the region, and caused millions of people left their country. They run away from region to immigrate, refuge to European and Western countries. This mess caused by this ideology, the notion of the utopian self-destruction. So ISIS is the imaginary community. The Anderson term we call this one was created from the nothing, scratch, which is ISIS organized by Erdoğan regime, Tariq Hashimi. So imported terrorists from different nationalities. This is self-destructions we call nifaq and fitne fujur, which is kind of involvement. Different countries I studied in 6 different languages, ISIS promoting journals and online using social media professionally. 6 languages they are using it, so they think nobody knows 6 languages. They can understand discrepancies, differences between 6 different languages. So I do know 6 languages. So I do follow those ISIS strategy and tools and jargons. So I put them in nail. So you cannot use different journals, different language, different jargons to attract stupid people. So I do know English, and I do understand Russian, I do understand French. German, I do understand some level of Arabic and, of course, Turkish, my mother tongue, so I can understand all the languages ISIS is using as a strategy. So there is a big differences between the ISIS journals. The Furqan, one of the journal they are using Constantinopolis and try to conquer Istanbul. So which is interesting. So I do see differences and how they are using political jargon. They are not Muslim. 100% I give you guarantee. ISIS is not Muslim, run by the non-Muslims, and who's against Islam, who's try to harm the Islam and Muslims. So that's why I studied deeply in my master thesis. I did write an article, academic article, and publish it. And I translate from English to Turkish and did write 2 books. And I explain all the historical background where they come from. So this ideology comes from very old-fashioned 14th century. Is one of the Prophet Muhammad's companion and son-in-law, Ali, destroyed this distorted ideology in that time, killed 60,000 people, and there was no choice. Such as stupid people using Islam and making mass and using Islam as a terrorism. So you have to stop them. You have to put them in jail at least, or you have to hang them. You have no choice. Those people are not listening, and you cannot educate them. Even some of them is well educated. Some of them looks like Muslim, practicing Muslim, but they are not. This is a kind of self-prisons by one's own ideology, we call, and the self-destruction, Ethiopian self-destruction. The limitation of the war economy now is harms Turkey badly, and people are singing. So all the applies this for the Erdoğan regime and mixed kingdoms getting worse and singing in the economic crisis because the terrorism needs a lot of money. So even though Erdoğan made fortune from this terror business, but he became rich by himself. He exported his money to 10 different countries. He is not keeping all of them in Turkey. So Erdoğan involvement with terrorism for money. His God is money. His God is not Allah. So he's using Allah, religious jargons, and he's reciting Quran and tricking people and using religion for political purposes is getting big mass, and there is no secular values left in Turkey. So Turkey becoming one of the worst state on the world. Erdoğan regime must go. Otherwise, Turkey is going to be destroyed, like Germany, and controlled by different nations. For example, US, Russia, they are negotiating to invade Turkey and control these stupid people. So Erdoğan is causing big harm, big problem in Turkey and destroying country and whole nation. So he has to go to La Hague court, and because he committed many crimes, used chemical weapons in Syria, using Al-Nusra and İHA, Bülent Yıldırım was one of the head guy, smuggled chemical weapons to terror organizations who killed 5,000 people in Guter. So all documented by US intelligence, German intelligence, British, French, German, Chinese intelligence. So all evidence documented, but sadly since 2013, and they documented all kind of crimes against humanity. So Erdoğan still in power. Interesting. So that's why we wonder who's supporting him, who's beyond him. We should know, we should understand those people. Who are those guys beyond him, supporting from United States, England, UK, Russia, Germany, elsewhere? Who are those supporters? He is always blaming innocent people. You are working for foreign countries or so. You are CIA agent, you are Mossad, you are MI5 or something. But he is making collaboration with those countries, and he's hiding his true identity. ISIS declares its intention to kill many Muslims, and not only those of Shia beliefs, because of their alleged disrespect for the main Islamic beliefs of unity, called Tawhid. They are killing the sake of unity, Tawhid. La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. They say that. But in reality, they only understand killing and sex. Many victims, Erdoğan regimes and ISIS, run away and came to Canada, United States, and return their countries. Those returnees explain everything. Erdoğan's terror organizations meet intelligence organizations in Syria, not praying 5 times, even 1 time in weekly Friday prayers. So they only do sex. They only understand stealing from others. They call ganimet, take over their properties, their wives, children, sell them in the market, and they make a sex and kill them. Who against them, they kill them. It doesn't look like Islam. It doesn't look like Muslims do this. This is a heretic understanding, heretic groups, marginal groups. So they have to bring them in justice. Erdoğan's Turkey now suffers from a wide range of political, socio-economic, religious discrimination. So racism and discrimination is becoming worse because of Erdoğan's hatred speeches. Every day he's making a hatred speech. Every day he's blaming somebody. He's using his political jargon and populism. Every day he's using his media and his corrupted journalists, writers, and academics, and TV shows and social media. They are swearing at us. They are trying to use their government positions in Canada and elsewhere and try to capture us. So because we are talking against them, which is interesting. They don't have any shame. They don't have any adab, haya, we call it. No adab, no haya, no shame. So these kind of people, cannot be educated. They cannot be listened to you or somebody. This is similar to Erdoğan's regime understanding in ISIS actions. They are related. So their psychology far exceeds even Salafi doctrines in spreading dangerous poisons of discrimination, hatred, and hatred others, othering, racial profiling, ethnic-based religion, which is distorted ideology. The Wahhabism produced one of the worst monsters since 2011. Actually, it's what started in 2003 after the US and coalitions invaded Iraq with fake news in American media. 2003, Musab Zarqawi started jihad against Americans and coalitions. But 6 Salafi terror organizations created in Iraq. So Iraq became one of the worst places, and they are killing every day Muslims, not Muslims, not killing Americans or invaders. So Muslim kills Muslims, Shia kills Sunni, Sunni kills Shia. How it happens? Saddam's army, one of the biggest army on the world. Americans destroyed the army. The Baath Party dismantled, and Baath Party was a secular. So they created a terror organization called ISIS. So previously they called Iraq Al-Qaeda. 6 Salafi terror organizations getting support, got support from Saudi Arabia intelligence, Qatar, Dubai. So secular Baath Party became a Salafi. This is kind of marriage and giving a birth a monster, ISIS and Al-Nusra. The American invasion made a force. They killed and through air strikes many civilians, and they joined the ISIS, Al-Nusra, and a lot of Al-Qaeda affiliated terror organizations. So American invasion terrorized the region and badly, and they steal petroleum and using ISIS. There is no excuse for this. So many big countries, former colonizers and new colonizers, US, Russia, UK, are using different tools to steal, to kill, to make genocide and Holocaust, of course. So raping women, giving harm, a crime against humanity. Not Erdoğan is only at fault. So this Middle East becoming a more dangerous place for humans. So hatred others. Islam seems to be turned a political project by ISIS and Erdoğan, but it appears impossible that ISIS can regulate any humanities, spiritualities, and cultures. So Islam is a universal peace religion. So ISIS represents and Erdoğan represents a marginal group. So in Sunni branch of Islamism, Islamists which is they call using Islam, they are not Muslim. They are not Islam. Islam is not religion and causing violence and kind of torturing others, harming others. So I'm talking every day Turkish, so I decided to talk English only today. Sorry, I am not going to change my language today to switch and explain to Turkish. So my target audience today is English speakers. Sorry about my Turkish fella, and so they don't understand. Please learn English. ISIS practice a very extreme from a takfiri Salafi doctrine. So I studied ISIS and Wahhabism, and I made 5 different branches, and since it started in 14,000 years ago. So it started in Najd, which in Iraq, and still this population is problem. So Wahhabi ideology is became a big when Saudi Arabia created by British intelligence. My forefathers, Ottoman, and they hanged them in Istanbul as a terrorist. So we don't see them as they are Muslims since at the beginning. So don't expect from us to accept those terrorists as a Muslim, please. We don't. We never. So as you trace down radical types of Wahhabi followers, 5 different types and ideology produced around the world, and provide discourse about definition and practice of takfir, rejecting others. So I divided 5 different historical area understanding, and which is started from Najid, and Hazrat Ali killed 60,000 of Harijis, and which is out of Islam, and try to give them a lesson, but they never understand. So these people can keep coming in different names, different types, different political party, different sect, and different leaders they are using. Erdoğan is one of the last. The ISIS is one of the last and worse. Secondly is 17th century and before 17th century. So we see that in the Fatimi government, we see Karmati sects. We see different ideologies in Islam, which is created kind of terrorism. So in reality, those ideologies supported by British intelligence destroy Turkish empire. So in 17th century, so they started using Ibn Taymiyyah, who's rejecting Ibn Arabi. So Ottoman Empire was created by Ibn Arabi, Mevlana Rumi, and Yunus Emre, Hacı Bektaş Veli, Hacı Bayram Veli, such Sufi scholars. Not by Ibn Arabi, Ibn Taymiyyah. Ibn Taymiyyah, one of the worst Quran interpreters in the history. So his writings interpreted differently, and his commentaries became one of the worst in the area. The Ottoman scholars was smart, and they were smart. They tried 250 books, and they captured 250 things against Islam and Quran and Hadith in Ibn Taymiyyah writings. So they have no right to use Islam and interpret in this way, because they are against the Quranic verses and Hadiths. So they are not Muslim. If you reject one verse in Quran, you are not Muslim. It is basically British intelligence using Ibn Taymiyyah to create Saudi Arabia, and they found Bedawi Jewish tribes in desert, Abu Saud families, and Abdul Wahab, British intelligence, who looks like Turkish citizen, in Iraq and Najd. This kind of marriage became and produced a Wahhabism regime. One of the worst ideology on the world. This is worse than Kemalism in Turkey. So because the dangers come from religion. Kemalism is a secular, despotic, French type despotism and Jacobinism. So we can deal with Kemalism. It is not difficult. We can solve easily. Now they're collaborating with Erdoğan. Kemalists and Erdoğan now get married in July 15, the self-coup. Sorry about those Kemalists, but they made a marriage with one of the worst, son of bitch on the world. Sorry about my language, but in reality, they give a birth a son of bitch in July 15. So the Holocaust regime, genocide regime, still keep running the show. So we have to tell the truth to the world what's going on in Turkey. So Wahhabism produced Saudi Arabia as a rebellion group. So my forefathers, Ottoman empires, sultans, capture them, integrate them, hang them. Tosun Pasha, one of the mayors in Egypt, with his army, 4 or 5 times stopped this terrorism in Egypt and sent those terrorist leaders to Istanbul to hang. So Erdoğan follows this trend, one of the worst terrorists in Turkish history. So, who are terrorists? Me? Hizmet movement? Or good people in Turkey? Yeah. They are the terrorists. So, who is the terrorist is a question right now in these days. British intelligence using Wahhabism and create Saudi Arabia. So, Saudi Arabia regime, Wahhabism, became one of the worst terror states on the world. So, after British Empire is gone in Second World War, US took this authority and power through Aramco Petroleum Company, which is Saudi Arabia is one of the biggest producer in petroleums. So I do have 5 books about petroleum. You have to read it. So I explain every single details what's going on in the Middle East and Caspian Sea area. So they cannot trick me. Come on, guys. I'm a scholar, I'm a journalist, and you cannot trick me. I'm a social worker, social justice fighter as a profession. So in Canada, Turkey is getting worse because Turkey becoming a terrorist state. So they historically saying British is gone, but they don't want to go. They don't want to go. They are still using religion, Islam's in heretic organization and sect groups created by British intelligence centuries ago. Please, British, don't be evil. Please be human. And don't use such tricks anymore. So Turkish intelligence using these British patterns, but Turkish intellectuals, writers and journalists, good Muslims, against you guys, you are collaborating, and which is we see this. So you are making fake news every day, and we capture it. So yesterday, supposedly the Baghdadi made a speech and 45 minutes on social media. He died. So there is a fake postures using by intelligence. Who knows who's behind the show? British, Israelis, and I am 100% sure not Muslims. And Erdoğan using those puppets, and he give a palace in Bosphor. So Tariq Hashemi lives in Turkey, Istanbul since 2011. He ran away from Iraq. He collect 25,000 terrorists from 80 different nationalities for Erdoğan and with intelligence. So ISIS has 8 leaders. 3 of them appointed by Erdoğan. Now, Chechen one, Sistani, died last year. US airstrike kill him. So other Abu Tuknani, who was in jail in Iraq, appointed by Erdoğan to Mujahideen Council in Syria, the ISIS Mujahideen Council. So he ran away from Syria because Russia involved in Syrian civil war, and he ran away. Where he went? Erdoğan's palace in Bosphorus, right beside Tariq Hashemi he lives. And Sistani's wives ran away from Syria to Istanbul. Now Erdoğan's collaborator, Erdoğan, captured him and put him in jail. And they are questioning Sistani's wife. They are not asking any single questions about how you receive weapons from Turkey, how you rape people, and in Syria, how you destroy Syria, 10 million people, and by supporting mid-intelligent and Erdoğan regime. They are not asking such questions. So I have to integrate them. As a journalist, I can ask questions. But nobody can study in Turkey, ISIS, al-Nusra, and Erdoğan's and mid-intelligent involvement, who studied, run away from Turkey. Journalists or academics, doesn't matter. Can Dündar is one of them. And many Zaman newspaper journalists and people run away from Turkey, and there is no academic left in Turkey to study Erdoğan's and mid-intelligent involvement with Al-Qaeda affiliations. So there is no intellectual people left in Turkey to explain you and what's going on. So they torture them, they they follow them, and they try to kill them and capture them, and using mafia organizations in different parts of the world. They are using Turkish embassy and consulate, and they are making arrangements with mafia leaders, making agreement and to kill us, capture us and kill us, which is interesting things going on. No, I am talking about new things, and this one is I am talking first time English. You have to listen. So ISIS, it is no longer connected to Al-Qaeda in Iraq, and support necessary. However, another former Sunni Ba'athist elitist official, Tariq Hashemi, escaped from Iraq and became a refuge in Turkey in order to recruit jihadis for al-Nusra, the Erdoğan's Fethi army, and totally 30 other opposition groups in Syria. So Ahrar Sham is their umbrella organization. Is that normal? How are you going to normalize such terror activities and giving a justification? So this is a political purposes. So government does this. You cannot talk against them. How come? So I am talking. I have a right to talk. You cannot stop me. Most ISIS members, radicalized by their Salafi mentors, at least 8 of ISIS senior leadership were former inmates of Buqa camp in Iraq, who controlled by CIA and Mossad Israeli intelligence, including the name I give you, Abu Muhammad Javlani, some people call Jolani. Abu Muslim al-Turkmani works for Erdoğan and lives in Turkey right now. And they are making a speech, and Baghdadi talks, Baghdadi that, Turkmani lives under the Erdoğan's protection wings, and intelligence using him right now. Furkan, there is no such organization, Furkan, ISIS, in Turkey. So, is that normal? Are you kidding me? Abu Jayman al-Iraq and Abdurrahman Hamad, the another two leaders and controlled by Qatar Emir. Is that normal? Qatar Emir hiring 2 terrorists from Buqa camp who controlled by Mossad and CIA and causing big trauma, al-Nusra and ISIS in the region. Is that normal? 10 million people run away from Syria and they destroy one country, and Turkey, including Iraq, Libya, Yemen. Is that normal? So it is not normal. The Ba'ath affiliation, Al-Qaeda in Iraq, is a joint and umbrella Salafi organization in Iraq, which is contain a collective 6 jihadi Salafi group called Majlis Shura al-Mujahideen. So they are forming ISIS and al-Nusra and other terror organizations. So there is a istishare group we call council, Halaka and Majlis, Mujahideen Majlis. So if you are sending the weapons to, for example, al-Nusra and Free Syrian Army, no, you are sending the Majlis. You are sending ISIS control system. Erdoğan knows about it. Mid-intelligence knows about it. Every single intelligence and government know about it. Are you kidding? It is normal. So every single militants and weapons sent by Russia, sold by Russia to Turkish intelligence and Erdoğan government, or sent by Serbia and Libya. They buy from Serbia and Libya and Russia and smuggle to Syria, to those terror organizations, and inspected and controlled and monitored, protected by Turkish intelligence and Erdoğan regime. Is that normal? Are you kidding me? Basis's dominant group were also radically trained in 10 jails in Iraq by Wahhabis mentors, so controlled by the US-American coalition armies in Iraq after 2003. So they created monsters in the jails. So those leaders raised up in Iraqi jails and they break the jails, 10 jails. So American intelligence doesn't know about it. So they control whole region with big army intelligence. They don't understand how 10 Iraqi jails broke and all the jail members gone and joined to ISIS and al-Nusra. They don't know what happened, how it happened. Are you kidding me? Is that normal? So it is not normal. The most ISIS top decision makers served either in Saddam Hussein's military or secret services and raised in the Buqa jails, in which controlled by CIA and Mossad. After invasion, the Basifications and the disfranchisement allow this seemingly impossible collaboration. So secular Bas party got married with Salafi terror groups and they produced a monster, ISIS and al-Nusra. So Erdoğan and mid-intelligent Hakan Fidan has been supporting those monsters since 2011. So is that normal? Yeah. Saudi Arabia intelligence leaders, Prince Bender, who was the defense minister, give all the money to Erdoğan and mid-intelligence to buy weapons from Russia. Is that normal? Until 2014 September, he was in power as a Saudi Arabia head of intelligence and defense minister, as a prince in Saudi Arabia. Provided all support to terrorism. Is that normal? No. Bender's brother, Talat Assad, lives in Jordan in a refugee camp and selecting terrorists in the camps for ISIS and al-Nusra. Is that normal? Yeah. So many strange things going on, and how many people joined the ISIS? I studied and their social media accounts. I studied different languages, and I studied and analyzed in my writings, and so I know every single information. They cannot lie to me. Impossible. Sorry about Turkish intelligence and Erdoğan. They are liars. So I have to tell, they are liars, and big liars, and causing big trauma, and killing millions, causing big, fire in the region, including in Turkey. So they are blaming others to cover up their faults and sins and mistakes, error. The Iraqi Ba'athist party have played ISIS card to gain fighters from 80 nationalities and using Erdoğan and Tarık Hashimi in Turkey. Is that normal? Yeah. So the Nakshi order in Ba'ath party is Nuri, is Ibrahim Nuri, who lives right beside US embassy in Qatar and organizing all the terrorists and network and collaborating with Erdoğan and mid-intelligence. Is that normal? Yeah. Right beside US embassy. He protected. So they made a fake news. He died in the airstrike. No, he lives. He's cancer. I know his relative live in London, and I get information from everywhere. So everybody knows this in Iraq. Is that normal? No. ISIS play a card, these jihadis in Iraq, and ended up with a jihadi Salafi catastrophe. Before 2003, this role would have been in an unthinkable collaboration between the highly secular Bastis, Saddam groups, and Naqshi order, and the radical Islamist Salafis in Iraq, marrying and remarrying, divorcing and remarrying, divorcing, remarrying. What kind of marriage is that? Erdoğan involved in middle and negotiate as a negotiator and mediator. He's making money. He doesn't care about the ideology, and he doesn't care about this. He's becoming a rich and one of the worst Karun and Frau on the world, and he made a fortune out of this business. He sees everything as a business. He sold weapons he buy from Russia, Putin. He got 4,000 prisoners in Russian jails. Putin gave him. Most of Chechens. Trained them in Istanbul, and using Sadat and one of the worst terror organizations by Erdoğan created into February 28, 2012. And Turkish army intelligence, military intelligence, they are silent, and they are evolving in this business. They shut up. They are not talking. So who was the army intelligence in Turkish head office in the time in Karargah? İsmail Hakkı Pekin, who retired and joined the Perincek. Guess what? Vatan Party is one of the big terror organizations and collaborating with Erdoğan. Doğu Perincek, Saldırayberk, who created a genocide project in Turkey. So this worst marriage and collaborations produced July 15, 2016 self-coup. And they are blaming others and arresting them, put them in jail, who's talking against ISIS involvement. How many of them? 50,000 policemen in the torture and kick them out from their position. 50,000! No kidding. Turkey invaded by foreign forces. 5,000 prosecutors, judges in jail, still in jail. 50,000 teachers lost their job. Turkey, one of the worst countries who jailed journalists. 145 journalists, the most wanted list. I am one of them. I have been living in Canada since November 2000. AK Party wasn't created. Erdoğan was still, living in jail, supposed to be in jail, but he wasn't. So his political career was done. So who supported Erdoğan? Who did select him? So I was here since then. So they call me a runaway journalist. How come I am a runaway journalist, who came to Canada before AK Party created? So there are many nonsense accusations and claims made by the Erdoğan and intelligence to innocent people in Turkey. I assure you, every single person in jail in Turkey right now, over 250,000 people jailed for nothing. And they lost their job, over 50,000 people for nothing. Who talk against Erdoğan's dictatorship and terror business network and corruptions, and in jail, lost their job. They have to run away from Turkey. their lives are in danger. Their family relatives, their children in danger. So this is a Holocaust and genocide. So no matter of what reasons they are creating and they are making accusations, so they are using government. So there is no such a government left as Turkey. I call genocide kingdom and mid kingdom. Erdoğan's kingdom. It is not mine. My homeland became a terrorist state. Sorry about that, but I have to tell. ISIS follows neo-takfirists. So I created one of the last Wahhabi doctrine produced ISIS after Al-Qaeda and Osama bin Laden. So Saudi intelligence created another master. So Turki bin Faisal was a head office leader during the Al-Qaeda creation and supported Al-Qaeda in Afghanistan, Somalia, and elsewhere. So Abdullah Azam and one of the guy and founder of the Al-Qaeda and Osama bin Laden and supported by Turki Faisal, Saudi intelligence. So they created a terror organization and supporting Afghanistan jihad against Soviet Union and by CIA. Michael Chodorowski, Canadian Institute Global Research.ca, and who was a head professor in Caltech University, made a lot of speeches and wrote books. Erdogan's involving in terror organizations and intelligence because of pipeline project and starting from Gaza, Qatar and Israel is supporting, and Germany and the US is supporting this. So the Assad didn't sign the contract and Russia involved and put his step in Syria and everything became a mess since 2015. So Erdogan and intelligence lost, but they don't want to accept. So their politics is gone. And even Trump fight with Brunson case is one of the stupid case ever. So this is the best terrorist leaders and seems Erdogan and intelligence. Neo-takfirists, which is a Muhammad Makdimi in Jordan origins person and Syria related, who's controlling Abu Zarqawi and who was a hipster and who created ISIS and Al-Nusra. He died in 2006 and by a US airstrike. Later on, the ISIS leadership is controlled by Mossad and Erdogan together and CIA intelligence. So everybody knows about this. And Perincek knows about this. Saldraberg knows about this. Turkish army, Karargah knows about this. Hulusi knows about this. Who is to blame? So they are blaming innocent people. And they are trying to make tricks to different countries using different politics. Neo-takfirists, Muhammad Makdimi ideology, and also in Egypt, there are different leaders. Mustafa Shukri, leader in 60s, 70s. So this ideology transferred to Turkey. The Islamists and AKP origin and founders who poisoned by this takfiri ideology from Egypt and Syria. So that's why they receive money from Saudi Arabia intelligence, Qatar and Dubai, and they have connections with those Wahhabi sheikhs and princes and terror petroleum leaders in the region. Saudi Arabia plays smart. King Salman studied master's in United States and PhD in Canada. I saw him and met him when he was a student, so I explained, so you have to remove Wahhabism from Saudi Arabia. Otherwise, I'm going to call you terrorist too. And your state became a terrorist, and Wahhabi ideology should be healed and make a distance between ISIS and other terror organizations. You have to stop Prince Bender. So he did this. He removed Prince Bender. He ran away from Saudi Arabia to London, and now he's hiding. So his collaboration with Erdoğan is obvious. So he's hiding in London, and British dirty people supporting Erdoğan by now. Now he's transferring his money to London and buy properties. So UK, are you kidding? Rothschild, are you kidding? Are you supporting Erdoğan still? So you took your golds to London, but still Prince Bender, your guy, is over there and helping Erdoğan? Are you sure? You want to do it? You want to do this? I will talk. I will give you the details and more details, and people are going to blame you, of course. So you are terrorists, becoming a terrorist and supporting terrorists. So who behind the scene? ISIS claims to reconstruct a universal presentation of Islamic Khilafah as a symbol of Islamic supremacy. This is British intelligence ideology, not Erdoğan, and using their politics and kill millions. That has been officially absent since 1924. Mustafa Kemal removed this. We don't want this. You are now British forcing Turkey to take this, and given this fire to Erdoğan's hands and supporting him. He believed that. He believed that he's going to be Islamic Khalif and Mehdi and rescuer of all Muslims. So he makes people stupid. He's a stupid. He's a moron. Real moron. Corrupt one. Rich one. Erdoğan involves ISIS leadership, Sistani and Türkmeni. Now Sistani died, but Türkmeni lives in Turkey and protected by Erdoğan. And they don't have any morality left. So Mujahideen Council in Syria controlled by Erdoğan and with intelligence and Afradu Sham. Even Russia destroyed many of them. Even US, British and French air strikes destroy many of them. Still, they want to live. Most of them run away and refugee to Turkey. Only people left in Elbab and Idlib. So Turkey made an operation to Afrin and tried to bring them to Turkey. Assad, Russia, now collaborating with US, give them a time, September 7th. They have to take their terrorists from the region. Otherwise, they're gonna kill them all. So 2.5 million people are going to run from Idlib region. So Erdoğan still causing big damage on the region, and with intelligence using Turkish army for these purposes, and Perincek group supporting him. Perincek group, Saldırayberk, İsmail Hakkı, Pekin, you name it, and many generals own fake companies in Turkey and smuggling, making money. Melik Gökçek is a former Ankara mayor, is a big corporation with Alexander Dugin, Putin, and all Russian mafia weapons smugglers. They have also petroleum and different businesses in Turkey. So the AKP members became one of the worst people on the earth in Muslim nations, and they are not Muslim. So they are killing people, torturing and oppressing others, and their arrogance, selfishness, and greediness became one of the big problems. So ISIS, using a different strategies, so ISIS attracts remarkable numbers of young Muslims, because of the emptiness, unemployment, alienations, marginalization, simulations, fear, hatred, and hopelessness experienced in their lives. They are using different jargons, different reasons to attract them. Erdoğan knows what he's doing. Intelligence knows what they are, why they are recruiting, terrorists from different regions and paying monthly salaries from 500 to 1500 for young people. They selected 6,000 people in Turkey only, and 80 different countries they recruit terrorists, and they use Turkish airline to migrate, to bring them to Syria and make an imaginary community. The Anderson terms in sociology. Are we kidding? So we have to stop them. So Hizmet movement, Fethullah Gülen, Hoca Efendi, made speeches and against ISIS and Erdoğan involvements and corruptions, and since the operation, the corruption operation and ISIS actually collaborations was going to be revealed in 2013. The December 17 and December 25th, 2013 operation made by police. So they call them FETÖ, and parallel the Hizmet movement followers and every single bureaucrat and government servants became a terrorist in Turkey. Because Erdoğan and intelligence tries to cover up the truth and try to survive from this mess. They cannot be. So we don't let it happen. So we should be explain every single details. So I have to talk English now, is because Turkish people don't want to listen. They don't want to understand. Even they understand, they are scared from the freedom is gone. There's a scary country and using a fears in Turkish public space, and they are treating us. Okay, we're going to capture you. We're going to kill you. Your living space is going to be smaller. So you are seeing a comment on my Periscope. Those are the Perincek followers and mid-intelligent, terrorists or Erdoğan followers, and try to scare me. So I'm not a guy scare anyone except Allah. So they can use every single opportunities to scare me. So if they can succeed, I will give them a medal. So they cannot be. ISIS has recruited militants from at least 8 nationalities and introduced heretical sectarian practices of enforced civilizations, which is converting the others to supposed to be Muslims, ethnic cleansing and biography, which is one of the worst definitions on the world. The ISIS and Erdoğan regime became a murtad, means out of Islam, and we don't accept them as a Muslim. So they are going to hell. Goodbye. So Erdoğan appointed 3 leaders to ISIS. Other 5 are from Iraqi Naqshi order, Qatar and Saudi intelligence. Are you kidding me? Is that normal? No. The fundamentalist, Ba'athist and dogmatic Tekfir Salafi marriage give birth to monster that is ISIS. We have to accept the reality. Salafism has produced a new ideology. So neo-Tekfirists, I call this name. This is my invention. Neo-Tekfirists, no Hariji, no neocon. You cannot do this. Evangelists, you cannot do this. I know you are supporting this mess. Zionists, I know those guys. Stratford in the United States, George Friedman. I know all the names, Gareth Jenkins in London. So those people working for intelligence and using these stupid Muslim guys, supposed to be Muslim, Erdoğan and intelligent and different people in the region, buy them out, and with positions, money, wealth, whatever, they are using a tool like Are they fish? Are you fishermen? Coaching them fish. You are coaching them as a fish, and they are coaching us as a fish. Who are the fishers? Are you kidding me? Is that normal? Sorry, I'm sometimes teasing. Jihadi Salafi subcultures of fundamentalism and violent brand of Sunni Salafi Bas Party political Islamism. So Çetin Doğan constructed Turkey as a new Bastist political Islamism, and I call Green Gladio. And using Bolshevik and Soviet Alexander Dugin doctrine, Sadrayberg knows Russians and studied the Soviet Union, and he transferred Putin's regime to Turkey. So their collaboration in July 15, 2016 with Putin was obvious. Please NATO, please write your report. I knew your report. You did write after 1 week. Why you are not releasing it? Almost more than 2 years gone. Why? Many people are killed and run away from Turkey and regions. Why you are not saying that Fethullah Gülen movement not involved in the coup? Erdoğan and his consortium created a self-coup against them, using military personnel, Hulusi Akar, intelligent Hakan Fidan. They control everything since 2011. So who did coup? Of course they did. They're Turkish, and they torture good people in Turkey. So I have to talk. I have to speak up, and because my life is not dangerous. They cannot harm me in Canada. They try a lot. They try every single opportunities. They give my name as a terrorist to Canadian government, but I know those people, politicians. I have many friends in Canadian intelligent politicians, bureaucrat, academics. Guys, you are stupid. I know you are moron in Moscow, and you are trying to stop me, but you cannot. So they are sharing those information with me, and they are saying that, are they stupid? Yes, they are. Sorry about that. I am not funny guy. The Sufyan regime, the Sufyan means wrongdoer. Erdoğan, a Muslim leader of wrongdoing, follows this nifaq. Nifaq means making big mess intentionally. So who's going to hell lifetime permanently? Taylasan is considered even intellectual imams obeyed Sufyan Erdoğan because of their fears. Erdoğan pays their wages, monthly salary. Erdoğan pays salary to ISIS and other terrorist organizations, militant too, last 7 years. And they are he's providing work benefits, many benefits, power status. They have license to kill, license to rape, license to steal. So there is no kind of judgment system. They will follow up, and policemen put them in jail. Nobody in jail in Turkey related to ISIS. Who prosecute them? Follow them. Police as a police judge. Journalists and academics, intellectual in jail right now. Is that normal? Yeah. Dogmatic Salafism, Tayyip. I call Tayyip. His grandfather is not Muslim. So that's why I call not Tayyip, Tayyip. Political Islam, local Salafi group calls it Nifaq. The event of Melahim, the final war on earth before the Judgment Day, is pictured completely differently from the way ISIS members present it, and Tayyip zombies. I call zombie. His followers are zombies, and they have no sense. So they die already, but they think they are living. Zombie. I like zombie movies. Looks like Erdoğan followers. It's a prediction that an army of 70,000 black forces in the Erdoğan's imams in Turkish mosques. So they are preaching, and one khutbah written by in his palace, and the military intelligent kingdoms writing and using Quran and Hadith. So how the politics using a religious jargon in khutbah in the mosque. So don't go to mosque in Turkey, because those imams are Taylasan, among the 70,000 black forces who will cause mass killings and chaos among the Ummah, Islam, among the Muslims. So Erdoğan's imams label as people in the hell, in the deepest layers, so worse than munafiq and kafirs, unbelievers. So that's why I give you warning. So don't follow any of the Erdoğan's imams and don't believe them. Mahmoud Demir in Canada, who's doing listing people and try to kill and capture them using a Jamaican, Mexican, Somali mafia, and one of the ministers. This minister, you are captured. So I am a Sufi. So I am a journalist. I'm a social worker. I can capture bad people, even through the government. So Erdoğan's mass and his bloody strategies cause big problem historically and among the Arab, Turks, and different origin people. In Islamic term, this is called the fitna, or in fact causing crisis. With the fitna singing and losing or winning, the war is going to also unsolved debate, which is the Zionists and many foreign powers' intention to destroy and harm Muslims and Muslim countries, and of course they are going to be new colonizer, and they want to exploit people, and they did many centuries. Please stop this. Erdoğan's ideology is causing big harm in diaspora and in domestically and internationally and globally, and treating global security, and people in Canada, people in Yemen, people are dying in Yemen, and every day 130 children are dying because of Saudi Arabia and US intelligence bombings, airstrikes. So using a different weapons and against people innocent. Please stop this. So Muslim youth are being recruited into ISIS could be a lack of acknowledgement of the practical, historical, cultural, and political and social grievances and sense of worthlessness and alienations and separation from true Islamic morality and civilizations. So their humiliations are big. We are using them as for taking a revenge. So the revenge and the angers, the recruiters are using, Erdoğan is using, and hatred, not love. Islam is love. Love is a religion. Love is Islam. And peace. It is not related to hatred, otherings, and discriminatory actions and racial profiling and labeling others. There is no such human rights exist on this world and other worlds. So you have to respect human rights chapters. So we do have in Canada perfect one. Copy it, please. Erdoğan and ISIS leaders' speeches are parallel. So ISIS has a utopian ideal that has attracted many customers, like Erdoğan has many customers. As a known mythical hero and mystical image was constructed by al-Baghdadi, he used a polemical and populist language to attract angry youth that Muslims are strong to conquer Rome and Spain again and Istanbul. So I'm laughing, sorry about that. Erdoğan using similar speeches and attract his followers. So millions of people are buying this shit Bullshit. Erdoğan's populism, beating up secular values in Turkey and killing secular, and they joined Kemalist seculars joined Erdoğan. Turkish nationalists Bahçeli joined Erdoğan. Turkish leftists CHP joined Erdoğan. There is no political party left in Turkey. So Mid-Kingdom and ÖKK mass cause big problem. Not only in Turkey, all in region, Middle East, and all over the world, globally. So we have to stop them. Erdoğan's populism, producing terror and horror, and humiliating people, using humiliations. Either way, vice versa as well. Recruitments, attracting people, also giving a trauma and humiliation to people run away from Turkey. So brain drain is has been going on in Turkey since 2011. People run away. Last 2 years, many companies sold out and run away from Turkey, and investments and gone. And only rich people are AKP and Erdoğan's followers. So they take over people's properties, and they are raping people. They are harming and torturing people. So like a Hitler and Nazi party. He controls ISIS. He controls 30 terror organizations in regions and 50,000 terrorists with weapons and ready to fight for him. 70,000 imams and many others. So, do you want to deal with him? Do you want to bargain with him? Trump? Berkel abla? Berkel abla is our FETÖ abla. They call in their media one of our fella who's a German counselor. We didn't know that. Thank you, Berkel abla. Do you want to deal with him? Go ahead. I'm not joking. Erdoğan's populism and his followers and such individuals become radicalized. He controls many terror organizations and selling weapons still going on, and using Turkish airline and using every single Turkish post and opportunities to make more money. He's got his money. Intentionally, he's using violence and racial command and making stupid speeches and try to make trauma and populism, and people are swearing at him, and he's arresting them, put them in jail. So he's intentionally doing such hatred and nifaq, causing crisis. So creates a black propaganda and with intelligent Hakan Fidan using populist jargon. He made a PhD in Turkey about black propaganda. So who writes a PhD about hatred? He did. Head of the Turkish intelligence. The rise of political Islam, ISIS, radicalism are two growing trends that are parallel. So Oliver Roy captured this in his two books and academic articles. Networking madrasa, religious school with curricula based on a Salafi Wahhabi doctrine. So the second, the territorialization through migrations from the West, so those people in diaspora, unculturalization and re-Islamizations, and by those Erdoğans and Islamist people in different nations, even in diaspora in the West. So they are the poison. Stop them, kick them out. We have no choice in the West. Kick them out from this country. Close down their embassy and kick their diplomat out. Erdoğan's Ankara supports suspicious and radical groups and became involved in civil war in Iraq and Egypt, Libya and Syria and elsewhere. And even sent Far East Asian countries are connected, the academics and journalists. They are claiming that Erdoğan over there. What kind of mess is that? Is that normal? Yeah. ISIS appears broadly as a radical political faction causing frictions in Islam. failing for outside the belief system and practices of heretic Salafi Islam. Erdoğan also used Iran and made a gold business with Reza Zarrab is another case. ISIS, because using gold and paying the monthly salaries in Syria, his collaboration with Irani intelligence Savama in Syria, so he sent not only weapons, also gold under the weapons and pay off the terrorists' salaries and keep them running to show. So this collaboration with Iran and Reza Zarrab, it should be opening another international court cases. So we have no mercy on those terrorists. ISIS is a scary killing machine and sex drama for Erdoğan and convincing for his leadership. So apparently, PAK's Islamism and PAK Turkish fears then appear strongly in Arab region. So emerging from the fundamental dilemma of PAK, Erdoğan and new PAK Ottoman Caliphate politics, it is not from Islam, not from Turkish inheritance, from my forefathers. No, it is not done. So scary Islam plays a very useful, functional role for rule for pro-Western elites for the Arab world. Perhaps political Islam should be defined as any form of expression of Islamicity for purposes not consistent with the pro-Western military regimes and oil sheikhdom in the regions. So Erdoğan supports those sheikhs, princes, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Dubai. They are putting their own wealth and kingdoms using Erdoğan as a puppet, as a terrorist who is supporting terror organization, causing a crisis in the Middle East, and not working for Islam. He's working for those sheikhs in Saudi Arabia, Arab countries, Dubai, Emirates, well, whatever. They are protecting their Wahhabism from values from outsiders. So they want to destroy Ikhwani Muslim because of that. They want to destroy Hizmet movement because of that. So those messy Arabs and rich Arabs corrupted, and they know only sex, and they are not working. So they have oil. Turkey has no oil, and Turkey borrow money from the United States and England, $460 billion. They are not paying back because they don't afford. Every single money is still by Erdoğan and his haramis and thieves. With intelligence. Sure, Turkey has no money there. People have no money. They cannot pay back. So Turkey is singing. Khalid Ebu Al-Fadl is one of the smartest, intellectual academics, and strongly suspects that not only Basra's Sunni group, but also Saudis and their affiliation and connections are the behind-the-scene masters of this imagined community of ISIS. Erdoğan's created a so-called caliphate. So ISIS will be destroyed by Russian and US, and now they destroyed almost gone last 1 year. But the political purposes of caliphate going to be happen by who? King Salman? Yes, he is. So he's a new Middle East project leader. So US sold out over $90 billion weapons and advanced technology to Saudi Arabia, created professional army. So Trump promised next 15 years so is another $350 billion weapons sold by US. Even Canada sold $15 billion. They have a lot of money, $4 trillion money. So who's going to use this money? Western countries. They have an interest. They are selling weapons. Who's using these weapons? Not only terrorists. Saudi Arabia using these weapons and killing Yemenis. And they are creating new wars, every day, and they are creating crisis. Using weapons, Muslim kills Muslims. So this is an evil plan. Erdoğan is supporting evil. He sold his soul to evil, by the way. So this Erdoğan's Mujahideen army alienated the former soldiers and members of the Baath Party of Iraq, Nakshi Order, and Syria joined ISIS to destroy Kurdish people, even Turkmens and Yazidis, Armenians, and other Orthodoxy Christian minorities in the region, and to facilitate genocide and ethnic cleansing. So it is crime against humanity. There is no time limit for this. They have to pay for this. The punishment will arrive sooner or later. So this is a kind of mess and started in after invasion. So 2003, Erdoğan is only a petroleum thief. He's stealing from ISIS and sell third parties using Turkish refineries in Turkey for free, and smuggling and using shipping them and everything illegally to he's sold to Israel, Italy, and Japan and Texas petroleum companies. So many people involved, many government, intelligent, and rich people involved. With Erdoğan, he is supporting rich elite, not poor people. So if he's going to be punished, also he has to tell everything, every single details, including the his son-in-law, Berat Albayrak, involved trans energy smuggling from the region since 2011. So Barzani involvement, it should be explained to the media what's going on. And is that normal? Yeah. So those Iraqi Baath Party is simply using Salafi jihadists to get back their power, and they did in Baghdad. Erdoğan armed many jihadi groups, including the Jabhat al-Nusra, the Free Syrian Army. Now Turkish army is collaborating in Afrin and in the region. It's how stupid is that? The Ahrarul Sham and controlled by MİT intelligence Hakan Fidan. And there are small groups, Safan, Horasan, Fethi Army, Livail Tevhid, name it. 30 terror organizations related to Erdoğan and MİT intelligence. There are many others. Al-Tahrim related to Qatar and Yusuf al-Qaradawi, and Al-Nusra changed its name to Shamfeti. Jolani, changing name, it's changing their terror and past history? No. So we know this. We recorded everything. We did follow and did write an article and books. So you have no escape route. So Tayyip Erdoğan has no escape route. Nobody can cover up his or protect him anything. He's going to be judged and he's going to be pay his sins, what he did. The punishment should be obvious. So you cannot blame others and brave journalists, writers, and academics and keep this national secret and using Turkish flag or whatever azan and using a religion jargon to protect me, rescue me. No, we cannot. You are big thief and terrorist on the road. You have to pay what you did, and your haramis, your corrupted 7 companies and other 40,000 people, and Doğu Perincek group and Turkish army group, MİT intelligence and ÖKK group, have to pay the price. We don't. We didn't corrupt it. We didn't corrupt, and we didn't make an agreement with Raza Zarrab and Al-Qaeda affiliated terrorists. So who did write this? In Turkey, only Zaman newspaper, Bugün newspaper, partially Cumhuriyet, and several times Aydınlık Doğu Perincek newspaper also did write this. Release a proof of about arms smuggling incident, weapons being transported to radical groups in Syria, including what is included Al-Qaeda group, and the trucks run by Turkish intelligence, MIT, who became a terrorist company. So those group, Doğu Perincek group is very funny. They have a newspaper, TV, and Halk TV. They explains everything, what's going on, and he's supporting and cooperating with Erdoğan. How stupid is that? How funny is that? Since 2011, they released from jails, and they made an agreement that they are killing, torturing, and making genocide against Hizmet followers, Hizmet movement followers, and not only Hizmet, every single person who's against this mess. Their target is many good people in Turkey. I can assure you, only good people are targeted in Turkey. Bad people is running the show and operating government. Easy to capture who are they. Erdoğan exported 8,000 trucks, weapons to ISIS Mujahideen Council to keep ordering the arrest of Turkish police, soldiers, many prosecutors, judges, teachers, and innocent civilian people, from villagers even, who try to stop these arms smugglers. He refused to accept Al-Qaeda, ISIS were terror organizations. He did that in September 2014, but he's faking it. Nobody in jail in Turkey. He still keeps sending weapons, train them in Turkey. Erdoğan never give up, and he never gives up, and he never listens. MIT exports terror weapons and jihadist group, especially to Al-Nusra and Syria and army in Syria. Some generals own fake companies, organize transport for weapons, arranged former soldiers' passage through Turkey. 25,000 of them. The Interior Minister Muammer Güler sent the letters to customs and release the terrorists and accept and welcome them. Treat them nicely and offer free hospitals. Sümeyye Erdoğan, Erdoğan's daughter, is a holy, hemşire, nurse, and holy bacı, sister for terrorists, not for us. Turkish President Erdoğan kept this national secret, very big secret. Yeah. They cannot hide. So ISIS seems a far more complicated organization than the publicized in social media and elsewhere, in academia, in books. I read many books and articles, of course. There are many suspicions arising from US sources and Western sources as well. The Turkish National Intelligence and Turkish Armed Forces, TSK, selected and trained about 20% of jihadists in Turkey. About 80%. So they are coming from different countries, from Tunisia, Egypt, Morocco, Saudi Arabia. So I listed all the names and all the numbers. So everything is recorded. Don't worry about it. So we do have some recording process going on. So we know who are they. Erdoğan supports a portion of it. Not all of them supported by Erdoğan and with intelligence. Ironically, since the beginning, ISIS has been killing most Muslims, as well as destroying ethnic diversity or a non-Muslim population. So they are not targeting colonizers or invaders in American and coalition forces. It seems they are collaborating with those forces. That's why the Russia Putin involved in summer 2015. Everybody was asking me questions when I was giving a speech in a conference in Alberta University in September 27th in 2015. So I answered the questions why Russia involved, because Western government and intelligence and collaborating with terrorists, and that's why they are hiding the truth. And Russia has some establishment in Syria last 60 years, so they have two army bases, so they have to protect their interests. So Russia sold many weapons to Erdoğan and with intelligence smuggle weapons, but political purposes. So Putin used Erdoğan, and with intelligence they use Putin and for making money. And who are victims? Innocent people are victims in the region. So who are to blame? Not Hizmet movement, not Jemaat. And who are the victims? Who are the oppressors? You have to clarify everything in public, in academia and media. So they are, so if they are stopping media and journalists and academics, and they are talking on the social media like me, and you cannot stop good journalists and good-hearted people. As more and more Sunni Syrians were killed during the American airstrikes, in Syria more youth joined ISIS. There is now no clear wall between ISIS, al-Nusra, Shafeti, al-Harusham, Horasan, the Free Syrian Army, Al-Qaeda representative, and America's supposedly moderate opposition forces, Kurdish democratic forces. They kill each other, so they have a power interest in the region, which is who are terrorists, who are supporting terrorists, became dismantled and dismissed in the media. So Erdoğan using this when he's talking with politicians and making a deal and making deal. Erdoğan has been doomed as a terrorist leader. Real actors behind the Syrian civil war have come now to the front stage. We have to see them. Since 2011, Saudi Arabia and Qatar now defend only al-Nusra, not ISIS. And they changed the name Shamfati and changed its name and helping American forces destroy ISIS fighters. So what happened? They cut off relationship with Erdoğan, and Saudi Arabia controls Qatar, controls al-Nusra, and ISIS is ending. So Erdoğan is ending. So this relationship cut off after Bender went to London, and King Salman controls the situation. Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi was killed at the beginning of 2015. So yesterday, who made a speech? Unknown, mystery. And the new leadership is once again a mystery. The leadership between ISIS and a global player and al-Nusra as a local actor has opened controversial discourse about why they are marrying, divorcing, and remarrying again and again. Why? I wonder. The Iraqi dominant Al-Qaeda network strategically failed their local insurgent group among Syrians, and they call al-Nusra. They are related. Aymari and Osama bin Laden's successor, and Abu Qatada from Jordan jail. Why they jail him out? Al-Qaeda network in Jordan, Talat Assad, Bender's brother. Why you did release Abu Qatada, name it a person as a new leader, a secret leader of ISIS? Why you are hiding in Jordan? So there's another ISIS leader hiding in Jordan refugee camp among Philistines and Syrian refugees who had a PhD degree, and Osama bin Laden's best advisor and helper, who was in jail until June 2015. I am following everything, man. And guys, you cannot cheat me. You cannot lie to me. So, who are ISIS leaders? Turkmeni in the Bosphorus, controlled by Erdoğan, or Abu Qatada, controlled by Saudi Arabia intelligence in Jordan? Who controls ISIS? Please tell me. I'm a funny guy. Why they are doing this? Why they are harming Islam and Muslims? So this mess has been going on, and Al-Nusra and Shafati, other Salafi organization, was obeying to Al-Qaeda leader Ayman al-Jawahir. But after they broke up the 8 jails, including Abu Ghraib and Tajir's prison in Iraq, Mosul in Syria, free all the Wahhabi terrorists, and Erdoğan supporting these terrorists with Tariq Hashimi and Talat Assad in Jordan. Bender Abbas. Interesting collaboration, right? And Nouri in Qatar, right beside US Embassy. This kind of big mass project going on, controlled by Stratford, who controls Erdoğan's puppet, and Saldraiberg, Perincek group, and who are Zionists. George Friedman, Michael Rubin, tell truth and what's going on. Neocon group, and who made a project and controlled. The project was written by Benjamin Netanyahu in 1996. So it was in my books published in 2004 and 2005 in Turkish. So we know the project at the beginning. So we don't know who's going to support Erdoğan and AKP, Perincek, and intelligence, and they are the terrorists. Who's supporting Benjamin Netanyahu projects? They are terrorists. Doesn't matter whether they are evangelist neocons or Erdoğan's people. I don't care. So I have to tell the truth. I'm an academic, I am a journalist and social worker. So if you don't want to listen to me, up to you, man. So you are going to be killed somehow by those people. You are going to be harmed. Your children are going to be harmed. The world is not going to be a better place. So we have to tell the truth to the public, and there is no therapy without truth. Have a good day.